What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Keisha the Poet, and I'm going to talk to you today about why I'm not going to compromise and why you shouldn't either. First, let's talk about the word compromise. Compromise, by definition, is the settlement of an argument or a dispute by concessions on both sides. It also is an acceptance of lower standards. Now, I don't think there's any part of that sounds good to anybody, myself included. So, the key word from that definition that I'm going to focus on is settle. I can't do it. Hashtag not gonna settle. Hashtag never settle. All of that. No, I can't do it. And I'm going to tell you why. And I hope in the process of me telling you what I can't settle for and why, I might encourage you to continue to hold out for what it is that you've been waiting on and what it is that you need. So the first thing that I cannot compromise is my celibacy. It's not going to happen. I know that seems ridiculous since I have 4 kids. And obviously I've had sex at some point in time. So it seems foolish, I guess, maybe counterproductive at this point to stop having sex. Like maybe I should have been celibate before I got married the first time, before I had the first baby. But hindsight is 20/20. I can't go back and do anything the way that I'm doing it now. And you know what? Where I am right now is perfect because it's where I'm supposed to be. And the Lord chose to bless me with those children, and they have each changed my life in a wonderful way. So, the kids aside, when it comes to me being celibate, you have to bring more to the table than dick. Like dick, I can buy that. Let's just be honest. There's stores dedicated to selling just dick or dick-like accessories or other things that are intended for you to please yourself by yourself. I want more from a sexual relationship than just the fact that I'm having this relationship. And the possibility of an orgasmic release. Can we talk about that? Like that orgasm's not even guaranteed. The number one factor for a woman in her ability to achieve orgasm is all tied into her emotions. Like your emotions make a huge difference even in your ability to become aroused as a woman. Now there's a ton of other medical issues that can find their way into that and create some problems. But the reality is the number one source of that is emotional attachment. And the stability in that emotional relationship, okay? So, and that's the thing that takes time. And I feel like I'm worth that time. I'm worth the time to establish an emotional connection and everything else. And, for men that don't want to date me because they don't have the option of a sexual relationship or the potential promise of that, and they're not willing to get to know me to see where the situation could take us, and if that's an option, or that the excuse of sexual compatibility, how am I going to know if you're what I need or who I want if I don't even know if we have good sex together? I mean, how are we gonna have great sex together if we don't really know each other? Like you watch too much porn, or I don't know, like, for the most part, I mean, it could happen. I guess I could have 3 too many shots of tequila and, flip your whole shit inside out. But that's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I'm trying to do. So I need and I want more. Furthermore, like I said, I'm approaching 40. I'm too old for birth control, and I'm definitely too old to be foolish enough to sign myself up to be a single solo mom again. It makes no sense. That's asinine. That is hustling backwards, so to speak. And I'm just not willing to let you try it out to see if you want to keep it. Like, I'm not a fucking car. I don't need to be sampled like a cheesecake. I look good with some new shoes and some strawberry sauce. But that's all the shit that comes with the investment of time in a relationship. Like, I can't just be whipping out my vagina and just so everybody can take a test run. You know what I'm saying? Why I gotta put all these miles on my car for you to decide if you want it? That's asinine. It's foolish. It's ridiculous. I'm worth the wait as an individual. I'm worth getting to know as a person. I don't know if any of you out there are celibate, but you're definitely worth the wait, and you don't have to compromise that. Secondly, I don't have a desire to compromise because sometimes when you compromise in a relationship, in a situation, that's how some people get lost. You have to excuse my son. He's nursing still. But that's how people get lost. At a certain point, who are you in the relationship? Are you still you? Or are you who your partner needed you to be exclusively? And if you've compromised your way to only being what they need, what happens when their needs change? You know, are you able to change with them? Do they still have the same amount of respect for you that they did in the beginning? Now that you're someone completely different and you meet this idea of who they think they want or what they think they want, and that idea is fluid because it's going to grow and change just like you are. If you yourself and who you are is not what your partner needs, if you can't meet their needs in the capacity that a human being is supposed to meet another human being's needs, you're not the one. I'm not the one for you. If I have to be someone different to meet your needs, I'm not what you need. You need someone else. And unfortunately, that's a mistake that a lot of us make when we love someone. We misunderstand the nature of the sacrifices that we should be making for them as a result of that love, as a part of loving them and being there for them. Because there's limitations to what you can do for another human being. You're not supposed to be everything and do everything. You can't, I can't, no one can. God is supposed to fulfill those needs. God is supposed to stand in those gaps. Yes, I have a purpose within your life. God will have a plan for me within your life. I will meet needs, but it is not my job nor my goal to be your source. I cannot be a source for anyone. God is my source. You cannot be a source for me. It's just not possible. So there's that. Now, for me personally, having been a step parent before, that's a, I don't know if it's an issue or a concern, but it definitely is something that I consider. Do I have the capacity to be a step parent again at this point? Because that shit is hard. It's harder than the job of being a parent to your own children, because there's so much more involved in that. You not only now have to deal with this child and their emotions, you have to deal with their other parents. You have to deal with the parent that you're married to. And I'm not saying that I'm against being a step parent again, but I definitely, in order for me to be a step parent again, there has to be a a lot more mutual understanding and respect. And that's not just on behalf of like stepchildren. That's on behalf of my children, my husband, their mothers, me, like all across the board. Everybody within the situation. Now, there's only so much maturity that you can expect from a child. So, you know, there's some concessions to be made there. But overall, across the board, respect. Respect is definitely my number one thing in that regard. Now, in regards to settling in general, I know some of you feel like I should probably be willing to settle because I'm rapidly approaching 40. And as I've gotten older, I've noticed a decrease in the number of quality suitors. Some of that is directly related to who I am, what I do, you know, the possibility of you even meeting me to potentially want to get to know me, to date me, to marry me, to blah, blah, blah. You know, my environment, my surroundings, my habits. So that's something that I am working on changing. I am working on making myself more, I guess, publicly available in order to meet my potential husband, because I doubt that he's going to, or he could, you know, walk up to my front door and knock on it like, hey, you know, maybe, who knows why God would send but someone to my door. It could happen. But at this point, you know, I understand that if you want to meet people, you have to be available for them to meet. So, but when you get closer to 40, as you age, people feel like you should be desperate. And that desperation should lead you to settle. But I'm not desperate. I'm not now, and I will not be in the future. It's just not a part of my makeup or how my life is set up. And for women, they, you know, if you haven't had the kids, or, you know, I've been married and divorced and had a nice long-term relationship. If you haven't had any of that, you know, society likes to make it seem like there's something wrong with you. You're failing. You're this, you're that. But fuck society, okay? Society tells you to do everything asinine, ass backwards in order to meet this happiness that, and these levels and these standards that are really just a bunch of crap, honestly. Nothing about what society has to say in regards to women, for the most part, is on a large scale positive. Society, the world, craps on us all the time. So don't let those standards be the reason why you compromise who you are and what you want. The final thing that I would say while you're waiting, and I hope if I've encouraged someone else to know that they are worth the wait, whether you're approaching 40 or 25 or 50, I believe that there is somebody out there that can love you, can love me, and meet me where I am, and be there in my life with me as I grow and change and move more into the woman that God is wanting me to be. Like, you don't have to give everything up to have just this one thing, because it'll never be worth it. And I would hope that as a man that potentially wants to date me, that you would not settle for me, just like I'm not settling for you. Because and I would also hope that you wouldn't want me to settle for you. Because if I'm settling, then, you know, you must love misery, and misery loves company. Because I'm going to be one miserable ass if I know that I have given up or put to the side things that were important to me on this deep of a level just to have a relationship. My marriage, I was in that relationship from a child. From 16. I spent half my life in that relationship. And so I never fully developed into my own individual woman. The woman that I see here today, that you see here today, had I not chosen to get divorced, I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be her. I wouldn't have the confidence to even feel like somebody could and should wait for me as far as me being celibate, or that I could and should wait for someone that meets the standards of what I want in a man. There's no way it wouldn't have happened. That said, you're worth waiting for. I'm worth waiting for. Don't settle. Never settle. Trust God to bring you everything that you need. Trust God. I would rather be single and so-called lonely than in a relationship that is everything that I did not want just to have a situation. Everything, for the most part, a lot of the reasons that women settle, the things that they need from a man, God gave me the ability to do all of those things. And all the things that I cannot do myself personally, God will send people into my life to take care of those things for me. So I don't have to settle. And neither do you. So that's where I am. I hope that I've helped you. I hope I've encouraged you. If you want to talk more about it, drop a little something in the comments. But that's where I am. #neversettle.